with you guys today, DiJonai Carrington. After clotheslining Sophie Cunningham, running into the locker room, screaming, "That's white privilege!" Then tweeting 8/23, threatening Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever, DiJonai Carrington now comes out and clarifies what she means when she says white privilege for the Indiana Fever.
2 minutes left in the first quarter. DiJonai Carrington just slapped the dog shit out of Sophie Cunningham. Sophie pops up. She's obviously upset. DiJonai says, "Try me." And then look at Stephanie White. Look at her face. Look. It's mad as shit. Now, number one, this is obviously a flagrant 2. It just is. By the letter of the law, you got to call a flagrant 2. We all know.
That girl needs to be thrown out the league. She's not even a good enough player to be bringing this type of drama. She needs to be thrown.
Welcome back to the Clark Update. Today's story has sparked a fresh wave of reactions across the WNBA, with a major Reebok deal putting Sophie Cunningham in the spotlight and leaving fans wondering how DJ Carrington feels about it. Did Sophie really take Carrington's spot? And why has this deal created so much buzz? Stay with me until the end as we break down the story, the reactions, and what this could mean going forward. Let's jump straight into it. This season, DJ Carrington may be losing the one thing that was truly going her way, and based on how things are unfolding, she has only herself to blame for how quickly it is disappearing. This isn't a calm or gradual decline, either. It's the kind of collapse that happens in front of cameras and millions of people scrolling through their phones in real time. And it all stems from a few decisions she made during a single week on the bench. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 90% of viewers still haven't subscribed. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, music. Did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now, back to the video.
Cunningham, otherwise known as MAGA Barbie in the WNBA, is a superstar player. She's one of the most famous female athletes in the world because she stood up for women in women's sports, saying only biological women should be allowed to play in the WNBA. And for that, she is literally risking her life. Check this out. This is what happened to Sophie Cunningham last night when she was clotheslined by a filthy, dirty player for Chicago who has a name that I can't pronounce, or maybe I just refuse to do that. That's my right as an American. But this is a player that has attacked Caitlin Clark, gouged her eye out, that has now bloodied the face of Sophie Cunningham, and as soon as she did this, she tweeted white privilege, meaning she's declaring this is a race crime. Now, if a white woman was doing this to black women, it'd be the #1 story in the world. She'd be banned from the league forever. But somehow black women are allowed to get away with this against white women. And it's white women in the league who make themselves a target by simply standing up for traditional.
Rumor has it that Reebok is quietly considering ending its relationship with Carrington. Even more interesting is the name reportedly being discussed as a possible replacement on its roster of approved athletes. It's not some unknown rookie trying to make a name for herself. It's Sophie Cunningham. Yes, that's Sophie Cunningham, the same player Carrington has been fouling as if she personally owes her money throughout the past week. Just a few months ago, hardly anyone would have imagined these two names becoming connected in a story involving a major shoe deal. So, if the rumors are true, this could be one of the most unexpected turnarounds in sports marketing this year, especially considering that these two players have been on opposite sides of a dispute that may now be putting one of their careers and financial opportunities at serious risk.
Goo! That's assault, brother. You can't do that. What the fuck? Is this just the default if you can't think? Or if you just like don't want to take accountability for your actions? Oh my god, this league, bro, this league. Bro. White privilege while you're wearing a bleach blonde dyed wig. I mean, the fuck? What is privileged about that? You Stone Cold Steve Austin clotheslined her ass. What about that is white privilege? The WNBA stays undefeated. It truly does. They can't get out of their own way.
This is how we ended up at this point. Carrington was signed by Reebok with the expectation that she would represent its basketball line. A player with charisma and the kind of personality fans would want to support both on and off the court. That is what an endorsement contract is really about. A brand isn't paying for your jump shot alone. It is also paying for the emotional connection you create with consumers when they see your name on a shoebox or watch your image in an advertisement before their favorite video. Unfortunately, DiJonai Carrington hasn't exactly been giving fans many positive reasons to feel that connection lately. Brands, however, are often aware of these shifts much faster than the average fan.
At this point, how far from the plot we have actually gotten, and when I say the plot, I mean the basketball. How far from the game of basketball we have spiraled. When we're talking about the WNBA, we used to joke, it's like, 0 days without drama in the WNBA. This league is living up to it at a rate and a level of concern that we haven't ever had. With all
that's going on in the WNBA, DiJonai Carrington tweeted out white privilege from the locker room of a game that she was playing in. Get this, she fouled Sophie Cunningham hard. Sophie Cunningham, obviously a white person, fouled her hard. Flagrant 2, gets ejected, goes to the locker room and tweets out white privilege in the middle of the game. Now here's the kicker to me. A flagrant 2 has to be contact that can lead to an injury that looks excessive. DiJonai, it was about as excessive as possible. If there was any evidence of there being white privilege, this was not it. What the hell do y'all...
Carrington was involved in 3 separate fouls against Sophie Cunningham in the span of a single week, leaving viewers replaying the footage just to make sure they had seen everything correctly the first time. These weren't simple hustle fouls or the kind of routine physical exchanges you expect between 2 competitors battling for position in a professional league. They were the type of plays that made commentators pause on live television because they were momentarily unsure of what to say. And somehow, all 3 incidents involved Sophie Cunningham, which is exactly the kind of coincidence that starts to feel less like a coincidence when it happens 3 times within such a short period.
Off the face, coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant 2, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant 2. There is
Get what you fucking deserve.
And just getting her out of the
Lucky
way.
it wasn't a right hook.
Make no mistake about it. Carrington targeted Cunningham. She targeted her because of her political stances. She targeted Cunningham because of the praises that she keeps receiving. She targeted her with a dirty shot that had absolutely nothing to do with basketball. And then after getting ejected, she runs to the locker room to play the fucking victim card. Like she didn't try to just take off Cunningham's head in 4K. Like we all didn't just watch it happen. That is not competition. That is a grown woman swinging on someone who she disagrees with and then screaming racism when she gets held accountable for it. DiJonai Carrington needs to be held responsible, and I'm not talking about just getting ejected from the game. She deserves a suspension. Maybe she'll think twice next time before she tries to take somebody.
Look, physical basketball is nothing new. Toughness has always been part of what makes this league so competitive and entertaining to watch, and nobody is asking players to play soft. However, there is a clear difference between playing aggressively and crossing the line into recklessness. Many viewers who watched these clips felt that Carrington crossed that line multiple times within just a few days. Writing it off as one bad night doesn't make it a one-time incident. When the same type of behavior happens repeatedly, it starts to look like a pattern. And when a brand's marketing team is deciding who should continue representing its logo on national television, patterns are exactly what they pay close attention to.
Sophie Cunningham came down on her leg. She could have been injured. So they said, yo, get out of here, dog. Get out of here. Then, I don't know if y'all were looking at her lips. She was talking about, try me. Try me. Yo, you already tried Sophie? You got all the samples of Sophie. You talking about try me. What are you talking about? This lady is unhinged right now, man. This is crazy work. And it makes you wonder. It's like, dog, you were the best player for the Sky at this moment. Look how she landed on the leg. Oh, my goodness. Like, you were the best player for the Sky. And you decided to do this? You weren't even thinking about the game. You was thinking about some kind of revenge or something. Somebody sent you on a mission. You were on a mission, dog. I don't know what you had going on here, but DiJonai, this is unacceptable.
Then came the interview that pushed the story beyond the boundaries of basketball. After being called out for the contact, Carrington didn't handle the situation in the way most players in her position might have. While discussing Cunningham, she used the phrase white privilege instead of simply taking responsibility for the play and moving on. That changed the conversation from a physical foul on the court into a much broader debate about intent, motivation, and everything else that comes with using a phrase carrying such weight in front of reporters. One thing is certain, whether you believe her comment was justified or had any connection to what actually happened on the court that night, it completely changed the tone of the story, and not in a way that strengthened Carrington's position in the eyes of the public.
Photo from the flagrant 2 on DiJonai Carrington against Sophie Cunningham, where she proceeded to go into the locker room and tweet white privilege after being thrown out of the game. I'm not going to comment on that situation, but I will say this. This is a flagrant 2. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, don't matter. This is a flagrant. I mean, she clotheslined her. What more do you want? So, this looks very bad. It just shows that the WNBA is nowhere near where they need to be professionally. Because again, this is a clothesline.
Furthermore, Cunningham hasn't actually retaliated in any meaningful way, at least not with her words. For the most part, she has simply continued to play, show up, and let her performance speak for itself. She has already dealt with plenty of noise this season and has handled it in much the same way. Because of that contrast, many people online have been asking why one player is portrayed as the tough one while the other is praised for maintaining her composure, even though she is the one repeatedly taking the physical hits. When you look at it from an image standpoint, the difference is pretty simple. One player takes the hits and stays quiet, while the other delivers the blows and then becomes vocal about the situation. Fans aren't the first to recognize which image looks better on camera. Brands notice it even faster. Social media certainly didn't stay quiet about the situation either. One widely circulated post said, Reebok still has DiJonai Carrington on an endorsement deal after she cheap shot Sophie Cunningham and screams white privilege. The message went even further, arguing that Carrington wasn't simply an athlete anymore, but had become a liability for the brand. It was hardly a subtle opinion, drop her or America drops you. That was someone taking a strong position and challenging Reebok to make a decision. Judging by the reactions underneath, plenty of people agreed. Quote tweets began piling up, with users sharing their own examples from previous games, resurfacing old clips, and posting screenshots of earlier comments. All of it eventually became part of a larger argument over whether Carrington should remain on the brand's roster at all.